What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today. It is the 10th of September, and here we are at about 1.08 cents right now with 10 hours and 27 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. Looking at this here, again, I would be very surprised if OnyxCoin has found its low. You know, in contrast to that, Bitcoin showing some mustard here is it adds to the possibility. Let's just say that, right? Ethereum too, right? If we're looking at this, let's see. Come on. Hi, Mufasa. You're a good boy, Mufasa. Yeah, Ethereum as well, showing some strength at $4,300 right here, almost $4,400. You know, everything's kind of up today. It's very possible that we have found the lows in the markets, you guys. I'm not there yet, but I'm very close to being there. I'm very, very close to being there. And if that's the case, OnyxCoin typically tops off on its own time, but it does typically find lows at the same time as everything else. So if everything else is moving up, I have a hard time seeing OnyxCoin continuing to move down. Now, there is that scenario where everything does move up and OnyxCoin still moves down. That would not be ideal, but I don't see that happening. Beyond all that, though, beyond all the maybes, this could happen, that could happen, whatever. You know, looking at this area here on the daily time frame, it just doesn't have me convinced that it's the low. We don't typically behave like this when we're at our lows, typically, but it happens sometimes. Sometimes it happens. Looking at this here with all of our indicators, our handy dandy indicators here, the RSI is coming up a little bit. We got above the 40. We even back tested the 40 for support. That's a good look. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually a good look on the daily time frame. We are only up 1.7%. We have 10 hours, 25 minutes left in the day. It's a lot of time. We could absolutely drop 2% from here and then close the day red. And if we close the day red, well, we're not really bouncing off of this 40 after all. We're actually crossing below it. Overall, we look at the daily RSI. We are in the same areas here that we were back here whenever we found our low the first time, the second time, and the third time. And what do I mean by the first, second, and third time? The first time was the best time, right? That was this move here. The second time, we were at the low of this kind of range. We moved up and inevitably came lower. We're in the same area now where we typically do find the lows. And I actually want to measure how long were we in that area the first time on the RSI. Should we do it? Let's do it. Let's do it from here, like whenever we got below that low there. So we broke out. It's about 48 days. 48 days. I would say here to where we are now. It's been about and give or take, depending on how you want to draw it, we're about a week away from having that same amount of time. So I would think we're pretty damn close, right? We're pretty damn close to finding support and then moving higher. I just don't think that we've got the area of support yet, okay? If we're looking at this here on a weekly time frame as well, you know, from a high to where we started to move up, that was 34 weeks. From where we are here, from a high to where, and we haven't moved up yet, but where we are now, that's 33 weeks. Within the next week, on two different accounts of measuring time compared to how we've consolidated in the past, two different areas, we're within a week of moving up, at least from what we've seen in two prior instances there. That doesn't mean that we have to move up. I'm just stating that as something that is a fact. That doesn't mean that we have to move up, but this is something that we saw the last time here with this overall weekly consolidation, and the last time too on the daily consolidation with the RSI looking this way. Anyways, something next week could provide growth. What's going on next week that might provide growth, I wonder? FOMC meeting where they're going to cut rates, where maybe, you know, between now and then there's some negative news that drives the price down. Everybody panics, people are worried about the wrong things, and then rate cuts happen. The markets get stimulated. Risk on investing is being clearly signaled by the Fed that it's time to go. All that stuff is going to be beneficial to Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins. We're going to move up, right? Again, while I am a little shaky, we're on shaky grounds here if you're a bear. And I wouldn't say I'm a crypto bear. I'm just like a momentary bear, right? I'm a trader. I'm taking this position of a bear right now, right? But willing to flip into the bullish position here, depending on what Bitcoin does today, really. Today could be the secret there. But I still am maintaining that bearish stance where I do believe we go lower. How much lower are we going to go for OnyxCoin? I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. Here we are from a low. That's not the low. That's just in the pit of nowhere. Low here to a high. 1272 consolidation down to the 1618. That's at $0.09. something in that area could be where we go. I think that we will go just below 1 cent down to about 0.009. Sometimes we wick through the golden ratio and we could see 0.008 come into play. If we're looking at this overall low from the 7th of April to the high on the 11th there, the 886 just below the golden ratio here at about 20873. That'd be the lowest I could see us going to, unless of course we get some kind of double bottom, which, you know, in reality, thinking prospectively, hold on guys, I'm sorry. That would actually be a very bullish outcome to get a double bottom, but that would imply a lot more dropping. I mean, from here, that's another like 20-30% of a drop. And I think we've had it with these drops, man. What's going on with me? There we go. There we go. That one should be better. I just didn't want to keep clearing my throat while you guys hear it. I feel like that's embarrassing. Anyways, yeah, lower prices. Sounds about right to me. Looking at the indicators here on the daily time frame, stochastics are bearish, RSI is bearish, and the MACD is bearish as well. We are building bullish momentum right now, but we're not really doing much with it, are we? Looking at the 1 hour time frame, right at a point to reject. Stochastics look like they want to come down, but in all honesty, the stochastics look bullish. And in all honesty, even though you're at a point to reject, the RSI does look pretty good as well. You're not getting oversold, you are getting overbought. MACD is probably irrelevant. It looks bullish though. It does look bullish on the 1 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame. Stochastics are bearish but bullishly postured. RSI is bullish right now, and the MACD is bullish right now. So bullish, 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 bullish. That's all good right there. I mean, all of that would imply that we go higher, and if we do go higher, that's fine. I think that's totally fine. I definitely wouldn't be upset to be proven wrong here, but I'm maintaining the bearish stance until proven otherwise. Understand, you guys, OnyxCoin does like to do this thing where it'll pump and then it'll come back down. So don't get too excited if we do move up to like 1.2 cents. That in itself does not absolve us of going lower, but I do think if we start closing days above 1.29, 1.3 cents, somewhere around there, we start closing some days above there, above this prior area of support, that would, in my opinion, validate this as a low. Of course, it depends afterwards. Do we get a higher low? You know, do we move up? How much higher do we go? But I think that would be very positive as far as the look goes. Anyways, I don't really have anything else that I want to talk about. Overall, we're just waiting for OnyxCoin to make its move to the upside, right? The amount of downside we have to go is very insignificant compared to the upside. Even if the worst case scenario happens, right? Well, the worst case scenario, we're not going to talk about that. I don't think that the worst case scenario is going to happen. But even if the worst case scenario out of the scenarios I've laid out has happened, we get a double bottom, that move there is insignificant, utterly insignificant compared to what we're expecting, right? We're looking for 26 to 32 cents, something like that, by the end of this next move. Very similar movement to what we saw here. Absolutely extraordinary phase of consolidation that we've had overall. I think when this breaks out, it's going to have the same results. Maybe not the same results, I shouldn't say that, but similar results to what we saw here. Maybe instead of a 20x in 2 weeks, it takes 6 weeks or 8 weeks, or maybe it takes 3 months. But it's going to happen, and I very much do believe that our next target area is 26 to 32 cents. I don't believe it happens as fast. I think that there will be more volatility along the way, but I do think it's coming. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Just hold, be patient. Crypto rewards the patient, man. It does not reward the impatient, man. Take care. Bye-bye.